welcome to Profit and Secure Her virtual conference. I'm Fancy, the award-winning editor-in-chief of Swagger Magazine, where I'm also the lead publicist, and I'll be your MC for the evening. Profit and Secure Her virtual conference is an extraordinary experience designed exclusively for intentional Black businesswomen who aspire to take their ventures to new heights and build a secure and prosperous future. This event was actually inspired by my having a conversation with the insurance agent and realizing how I need to get serious about my own future. And that made me realize how I don't like having those types of conversations, just me personally. They're not really interesting or sexy, especially in this climate. There's so much disappointing and mood dampening news. But upon deeper introspection, I realized I also did not like how my finances looked, and yet a part of that is money, and I like money. And I know there is more I need to learn about it. Then I figured other Black women may be looking for a fun way to learn about it too. And here we are at Profit and Secure Her. We have an amazing 3 evenings planned for you. Tonight is sponsored by Fire Savvy, who you will hear from shortly. So let's get into our speakers. Okay. I'm missing my speaker right now, but I think she's going to be coming right back. But let me get into her intro. I just want to make certain that I'll be able to pull her up on stage. So our first speaker is Lorinda Andujar. Lorinda is someone I've known and admired for several years. The current generation presents an undeniable need for culture shifters, infused with an innate ability to emulate the faulty foundations of times past through powers of healing, innovative reasoning, and altruism. Embodying these qualities in unyielding measure is the compassionate professional Lorinda. Lorinda is a best-selling author, prolific orator, and certified grief and recovery specialist, displaying a sincere preeminence for helping leaders and growing professionals accurate the skill sets, inner resilience, and awareness necessary in attaining authentic success. Having spent many years in the realms of consulting and coaching, Lorinda helps clients submit to the truths of their current disposition while exercising unconventional strategies to enhance their overall success in life. Her mantra is simple: transparency, relatability, and innovative thought processes are the primary ingredients found in the veritable leadership development. Tonight, Lorinda is presenting Elevate from Mediocre to Greatness. Let's welcome Lorinda to the stage. And okay. Lorinda, do you see how you can join me? Because for some reason I'm not seeing you anymore. Or Lorinda, can you raise your hand and I can bring you up on stage that way? I'm sorry, y'all. This is our first night. Y'all know we're going to have a few hiccups. We're going to get through them and we're going to have a good time. And we're going to learn more about money and as well as how to secure a future that we actually desire and not something that's just placed upon us because we weren't doing our due diligence during these times now. Okay. All right. Let's see. Why? I still don't see you. Are you able to take the controls, Lorinda? I'm not. It's saying I only have the option to hide you from the stage. I've tried to add you to the stage, but it's not. It's not bringing you in. Okay. I've invited you now. Okay. All right, y'all. I thought I was gonna have to talk for 30 minutes by myself. All righty then. Here. I'm gonna let her come in and then I'm going to go back behind the scenes again. So Lorinda, you good?
I am good. I am good.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. So my back screen is a little bit, it is flipped around. So I do apologize, but we're just going to keep it going here. So as Fancy said, my name is Lorinda Andujar. I am the CEO and founder of Heal the City, Inc., a 501c3 organization that helps people with grief and trauma. I am the person that everybody runs from, but that's okay. Eventually, you have to come back and see me. I'm also the founder of She Blinked LLC, and that's a professional speaking organization. I am, if we're going to run down the credentials really quick, because some of you want to know who you're speaking to, I did drop all of my information in the chat. So please feel free to connect with me. We have 30 minutes here today, but you may have questions after, and it's okay. And we're talking about personal development, right? So I am a certified John Maxwell speaker and coach. I am a certified grief recovery specialist. I am a certified mental health first aider. I am a certified human trafficking first aider. So you kind of see why I talk about personal development, and I don't talk about it because it's the fun thing to do. Most times people run away from that person that's talking about personal development, because that's the stuff, that the hard stuff, the stuff that we have to do, the work that we have to put in to get where we want to be. So I'm super excited to be invited here by Swagger Magazine tonight. You can hear, kind of my energy going out, because I'm excited to also see some of the speakers that are coming up behind me and learning some different tricks of the trade and the unwritten rules to the business. So feel free to take notes, feel free to ask questions, and feel free to reach out to me by any of my information that is below. So being a talent development individual by trade, I worked with the world's largest retailer for 27 years. And I started there when I was just 17 years old. And mind you, I worked there 27 years. So I learned a lot of the unwritten rules to business that we don't necessarily get taught these days. And if you notice in the back, that is actually a feature that Francesca Felder, Fancy, did about me on my Heal the City platform. So I'm really passionate about the things that we do, and the things that I talk about, I don't only talk about them, I've lived them. So let's talk about personal development. Let's get into it. So when I was trying to figure out, so I'm going to talk to these folks about personal development. Nobody wants to talk about personal development. Everybody wants to get onto a business and make $1 million day one without doing any of the work. They don't want to talk about the marketing. They don't want to talk about the advertising. They don't want to talk about the sales tactics that you have to. They don't want to talk about branding. They don't want to talk about the things like licensing and insuring, and all of those things are critically important when running a business. But the one thing that is most valuable for you to invest in is your own personal development. So personal development, if you don't believe me, listen to this definition of personal development by a company named Allegro that looks at, development in general, right? So personal development is a phrase that refers to activities, meaning that you have to do the work, activities designed to improve talents, potential, employability, and even wealth. So I'm going to read that. I'm going to run that back for you again. When we talk about the importance of personal development, we always talk about professional development. I want to go and get the degree. I want to go and attend the class. All of that is great, but you got to work on you first to make sure that your mindset is ready to receive the information that you are going to acquire down the line. So again, personal development is a phrase that refers to activities designed to improve talents. So all of us have talents that are innate to us, right? I write poetry like nobody's business. I'm a wordsmith. I've been coined a wordsmith, right? But without developing myself personally, I can't use those talents in a way that is going to help me professionally down the line and then be able to help others with that. So it improves my talents, my potential. Everyone has potential. I don't care what anyone says. We all have potential, but we have to nurture that. We have to hone our skill sets. We have to build ourselves to get to the next level. Employability. So this one is very a soft spot for me, because we have so many people, young and old, coming into the workforce for sometimes the first time in their lives. You have people that are divorcees that have been amazing homemakers, running the business of the home all their entire life, and they've dealt with things in the home environment, and then they go into a corporate environment and sometimes they feel stuck and lost. This does not apply to everyone, so don't get out there saying, Lala said if I'm a homemaker I can't be successful in business. Yes, you can, but there are some unwritten rules that apply to business that we're not taught in a personal setting, that we should be taught in a personal setting to help us in the professional setting. You could be a college student just coming out. Everything is applicable, right? So what they teach us in the book does not always align with what we're taught when we do real life. Because in the book, it taught me that I go to work, I follow the rules, and I get promoted. Well, the book doesn't talk about the 5 different generations that you have to deal with in the workplace. It doesn't talk about each customer. It doesn't talk about the socioeconomic statuses that we have to deal with, the backgrounds and the things that shape who we are as a person that we have to deal with, that the book didn't outline those things for us, because you can't learn everything from a book that will apply to you being in a leadership position or any position from that, because we all, before we have professional leadership, we have personal leadership, thought leadership, those type of things that we have to get taken care of inside of ourselves to be able to move to the next level when we're talking about professional development. And so we talked about it improves our talents that are innate to us, because we all have talents. We just have to find out the thing that sparks us. It improves our potential. Everybody has potential, but we have to improve the skill sets that we have. Employability. Our skill sets, our talent, our nice personality can get us the job or get us a seat at the table, but will it keep us a seat at the table? When we start dealing, when all those bad things that we dealt with in trauma situations starts resurfacing because we got triggered by something, and now we're lashing out or acting out in a professional setting, something that is personal to us that somebody may not understand, like that angry Black woman thing that is out there, that when Black women are aggressive or sharing their thoughts, we're perceived as the ABW, the angry Black woman. And I joke about that at work, but it's true. We have a tonal language, and so people who don't understand that tonal language can misconstrue the things that we say. And if we don't have our personal challenges in check, it can hurt us in a professional setting. And then even wealth. So think about this. You go into business, you get the grants, you get the building, you get the partners that are going to help you out. Easy street, right? Wrong. So if I haven't learned to have candid conversations, communicate the right way, if I don't have really great coping skills, that may damage all of that. All of those things are now in jeopardy because I've only looked at the professional side of things, but now I have to really focus on me personally. So anytime that you're consciously making an effort to improve yourself, guess what? You're participating in personal development. So whether you're going to, go to a yoga class to get your stress under control, whether you're going to go exercising to manage your blood pressure, your stress, or how you view things, whether you're going to go to a therapist to deal with the things that are not uncovered so they can unearth those things that have held you bound, we're working on personal development. So again, thank you, Swagger, for giving me the opportunity to speak. And let's go into it. Who I am, I already talked about who I am, what I do. I'm a personal and professional development coach, but I go lean more to the side of personal development, the things that have us stuck in the muck, because what I've learned is I've worked with a lot of brilliant people in a lot of corporate settings. What I've learned from that, though, is the things that we thought were acceptable at home, we try to bring those things to the office or to the corporate table. For instance, I remember, like I said, I worked at the world's largest retailer for 17 years. And I remember when I first got my real salaried position, here you have this young kid that is now leading other people's. I was leading, generations of people. So there's a generational difference that, ma'am, sir, Work ethics is different. Things that they expect. Some people expect you to look them in the eyes. Different cultures that I'm dealing with. In some cultures, it's rude for you to look someone in the eye. Things like, taking someone's business card and putting in your pocket could be rude to someone. So I didn't know any of that stuff. And I remember I worked in over food services, and I had this really great person. She was very talented. I mean, ran a restaurant for many years, understood how to run the business in and out, but she did not have people skills. The challenge with that is I did not have the interpersonal skills, the people skills to develop her, to let her know that the things that she was doing in business was not acceptable and no one would want to work for her because she would run people away. Yes, you knew business, you knew how to complete a ledger, how to do inventory, how to do all of these other things, but she didn't know how to talk to people. She didn't know how to treat people. And she talked to grown folks like they were her kids, and that's not acceptable. So that was rooted into some stuff that she should have had to deal with. And I, being her leadership, should have been able to walk her through that to make her a better person. Well, because I could not have those candid conversations, because I didn't know what I was doing, I knew to be nice and stuff, I shied away from tough conversations. And when you're in leadership, you cannot shy away from tough conversations. So think about our personal development. A lot of us don't like conflict. And I'm just going to speak for myself. I grew up not liking conflict, right? I didn't like conflict. I wanted to be liked by everybody. So I went along to get along. And those things kind of damaged me as a person because I expected everybody to think like I did. So what I needed to do was get out of my own way. And so today we're going to chat about personal development a little bit more and why it's important. Personal development is important because it's the foundation of everything we do. It's the foundation of everything we are and what we set out to be. And so I remember every time I used to start a speaking engagement, I used to say, hey, everybody, I introduce myself and I'll say, what do you see when you look at me? And I want us to think about that. What do you see when you look at me? And people would tell me all these great things that they saw. But in myself, I saw an imposter. I saw someone that was just learning things by flying by the seat of her pants. I learned and I picked up things on the way and for any role that I went into. So those were some of the challenges on to that I'm not even going to be a great professional, but I had to learn some things along the way. So we're going to talk about 5 simple steps to take you from mediocre to great. And one of the things about having understanding the importance of professional development, personal development, it determines how fruitful you and your connections will be. No one wants to work with an arrogant, loudmouth narcissist. No one wants to work with that. No one wants to work with someone that wants to steal the spotlight all the time and is afraid to give props when the props are due. No one wants to have someone that they can't trust, that is not trustworthy in business. No one wants to work with that person, but we don't ever look at ourselves to see if the thing that we hate most in others is residing snugly within ourselves. And that's what personal development is. It helps us look inward to make sure that the things that we do, the things that we think we're doing, we're actually doing. And so, again, I talked about being in leadership at 17 years old and some of the mistakes that I've learned, the unwritten rules. You can't go and lash out someone like you would do at home. And hopefully you're not doing that at home either. But home is the first place that we learn how to have great, healthy, non-toxic relationships. And that's what personal development does. So let's talk about it. Step 1, we're going to talk about 5 easy steps. And I'm going to make this fast because we got 9 minutes. So learn who you are and become a lifelong learner. So it doesn't matter who mom says you are. It doesn't matter who dad says you are. It doesn't matter what your next door neighbor says, your boss says, or whoever. Learn who you are. Learn what you like, what you dislike, what you will tolerate, what you won't tolerate. The things, learn what your triggers are so that when you see those things or those similar situations coming, you can recognize for what it is. It's a trigger. Hey, maybe this person does not have ill intent or ill will towards me. Maybe it's just a trigger and I need to work through that to see exactly what is happening and what this person is saying to me. Learn who you are. It's not who anybody else says. Who do you think you are? And to be able to do that, you have to spend time by yourself. You have to isolate. You have to ask yourself questions. You have to get in the proverbial naked in front of the mirror and see the challenges that rest within you, and then go seek the help. Maybe it's counseling. Maybe it's getting yourself a trusted advisor. Maybe it's going to a class and different things. Maybe it's going to yoga. Maybe it's getting yourself fit. To be mentally fit is really important, because so many times we work on the outside, but we never deal with the stuff that's on the inside. So it's really important to do that. How we communicate, what our communication style is, what we like to do best, then acknowledge our shortcomings, right? We all have shortcomings. No one is day one going into business and killing the game. Some things you happen to do well, and some things, if you've taken the time to do the work to invest in yourself, yeah, you can shoot out and you can become great at that thing. But acknowledge your shortcomings. Don't take it as someone knocking you down when they give you suggestions on improvement. It's something that they're seeing that can help you. That's why you have to get you trusted advisors, so you don't have to worry about if someone is sabotaging you. Because the person, when it comes to personal development, the person that's going to sabotage you the most is you, my friend. I know, because I've dealt with it. So we're going to learn who we are, not who somebody else says we are. We're going to acknowledge our shortcomings. Make a list of the things that we don't do well, or what we want to do, or what we need to learn to get where we need to be. Be a lifelong learner. And then get you a few trusted advisors. I'm going to say this is the most critical piece for me, because no one is going to be successful in business by themselves, because we don't know it all. So we have to get people that can tap us on the shoulder, pull the proverbial skirt and say, hey, that was not necessarily the right thing to do. That was not the right way to speak out in that meeting. And I learned that the hard way, because, the most passionate speech in your life could be the last speech of your life. And that can close many doors if you don't know how to govern yourself and hold yourself accountable. So make sure that you get a few trusted advisors that can teach you not only the unwritten rules of the business in your personal life, but they can guide you along the way. They can share their experiences, what we call those teachable moments, to help us go from mediocre to great. And then be consistent. Be consistent even when you don't feel like it. So every day, I don't feel like learning something. Every day, I don't feel like getting up and doing exercise or whatever. I don't feel like apologizing when I'm wrong. Hold yourself accountable and be consistent in anything that you're doing to develop yourself personally. And then find something each week that you can do different, that you can build upon on what you started the week before. And then by the end of it, a year later, you're not the same person that you used to be. Things that used to bother you, you let go by the wayside, because when someone has a problem, and if you don't know they have a problem with you, you don't have a problem, and you don't have to. It's like the dog that barks at every car that goes by. You don't have to address everything, and that's growth. And then when you notice that you don't have to address every dart or every bad thing that is thrown at you, then those things get out of the way, and then you can walk into the person that you're designed to be. So those are some of the things that we want to talk about when we're talking about personal development, and the things that we want to consider, right? So you're going to be consistent, especially when you don't feel like it. I'm going to go to my counselor. I'm going to deep dive into this issue. I'm going to make note of my triggers and how I respond. And then you can overcome that and say, you know what, this is kind of me right here. And then be your own accountability partner. I cannot tell you the times that I looked for someone to be an accountability partner for me, and then I got frustrated. And so one of the things that you have to learn to do is be accountable to yourself. I am going to get up. I am going to write the word and make it, I'm going to write the vision and make it plain. I am going to learn a skill set that is going to help benefit me in my personal life so that it can help me in my professional life. I am going to make sure that I listen to understand, not just to respond. That can help us a lot, you know, and I can make sure that I'm placing only the people around me that are going to be beneficial to my personal growth. I'm not going to put someone around me that is going to throw me a pity party every time, because that's not going to help me. That's not going to help me in the professional setting, because you want to throw a pity party for yourself in a professional setting and you're going to end up being demoted or out the door. So learn how to cope. And so when coping skills is something that's really important when we're talking about professional development, because if you're learning what your triggers are, if you're learning the things that you can't do in a business setting, you'll learn the things that are holding you back, and then you can deal with those things. So I know I got about 3 minutes left, and but that was kind of my spiel on personal development. I hope you understand that I'm truly passionate about personal development, because the person that you see sitting in front of you today, by statistics, by man's standards, I should have never been where I am today. I should have been a statistic. And so there were so many things that I had to overcome in my personal life, like depression, suicidal tendencies, and all of those other things, and just being so focused on what someone else thought about me. But once I got free of those and I started walking and living in my truth, I started to be a powerhouse professionally. And so it is really awesome that I got to spend this last 30 minutes with you. And I know I have about 2 minutes left. So, Fancy, if you want to come on, and if you have any questions to ask me or anything that I may have missed, I'll be right here to speak with you. But it was definitely a pleasure speaking with you. And hopefully I'll get to interact with you soon. So thank you for Swagger Magazine and the Profit and Secure Her for the opportunity to be on stage. And I hope you enjoyed yourselves tonight. I can't hear you.
I'm just talking away. I was I was saying that was really good. I don't often I think I've grown so accustomed to just always working on myself. I don't think as much about personal development, but it's just kind of like it's a part of me now. Just I'm always trying to improve. But just listening to what you said, I think I got three of the tips. I just wanted to see if I what the last two were. Do you have the last two in front of you? Because I have learn who you are, acknowledge your shortcomings, and be consistent. And then
Yes.
what were the other two?
So number 3, get a few trusted advisors. And then be your own accountability partner, because we're always looking for cheerleaders and get so frustrated when we don't have a cheerleader nearby. Celebrate your own wins with yourself.
Yeah. And that's
Because
so important.
yes, because that helps us to get away from other people validating us when we can validate ourselves.
Right. And that frees us from people pleasing, which is something I've had an issue with in the past. So I totally agree with that. So thank you so excuse me. Thank you so much, Lorinda, for taking the time out to speak to us about personal development. I hope that you all are taking notes. And if you all where can they connect with you at before we close out?
Absolutely. I did drop all of my information in the chat. I will drop it again. So one moment. Let's see. You can
And then
follow.
also,
Mhm.
yeah, I was gonna say also for the people that are watching on Facebook too, and
Okay,
YouTube.
awesome. So you can connect with me on Instagram at I am Lorinda Andujar, at She Blinked LLC, at Heal the City Inc., on LinkedIn as Lorinda Andujar, on Twitter as Passions Gate. So there's a lot of ways to get in touch with me, or you can just Google me and you'll find me somewhere. Lorinda Andujar, LAURINDA ANDUJAR, and I look forward to speaking with you.
All right. Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
All right, guys. So we're gonna keep it moving right along. I really enjoyed Lorenda's presentation, and I hope that you all did too. So our next speaker is a representative of Fire Savvy, which is a collective of badass entrepreneurs focused on business growth and scale. They give their clients cheat codes in messaging, client attraction, and money making strategies. Please welcome Patrice Garrison of Fire Savvy. Now, Patrice, you know we had just had an issue about bringing people on stage, but we're gonna pull this together. 1 second. Patrice, can you raise your hand if you're in the audience? Okay, great. I feel like like a educator taking role. Like, can y'all raise your hands? You know, if you're here today, but for some reason, it's not working the way I was expecting it to work. I think the system has changed a little.
All right, I think we got it. Can you hear me?
Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead on and give you the mic, Patrice.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having us. We're super excited to be here. I've heard amazing things about what it is that you guys are doing. I'm popping in on behalf of Fire Savvy. As she mentioned, we are a group of badass entrepreneurs who are ready to take our businesses next level. So if you are out there, you're killing it, you're hosting events, or you're looking forward to hosting events, and you want to move towards months where you're not client chasing, but you're actually hitting 100K monthly recurring revenue, right? In your sleep. If you wake up and you simply do the same things you did last month and you want 100K in your account, that's what we specialize in. But to get there, as you can imagine, you're going to have to make some shifts. So I'm here today to help give you guys some tips, some pointers on what it looks like to kind of want to burn your business down. And if you're in the comments, you want to drop me an emoji and say, girl, I know what you mean. If you're like, I want to go ahead, I want to get next level, but the way I'm building my business right now is just not working for me. I'm ready for a pivot. We're going to focus in on that today. So super excited to give y'all a little bit about my story as well as our co-founders. We have two founders of Fire Savvy, and just what helped us get to a point where we're not just hitting record revenue months, but we're also doing it in a way that we're actually having fun. So, a little bit about me. I am what they call the influencer maker of Fire Savvy. And what my role is in Fire Savvy is to help give you guys that social media presence so you are standing out to your dream clients. Why? Because some of us will start a business and we'll be super excited. And again, if you understand what I mean, let me know. You're like, yes, I understand that like clients are looking for me. I'm getting booked. I'm busy, all the things. But after a while, you're like, I don't know if these are my dream clients. These people stressing me out. And so enough of that combined with workload overload, right? Sometimes we say yes to a business model that we don't really analyze that's best for us. And we're literally like, okay, so the work is stressing me out. I thought I loved this. I don't know now. And again, you're not serving your dream clients. And so that causes a lot of business owners, and truth be told, summertime is where it really hits. I've been in business for 10 years. I've seen year after year, myself included, hitting face on the floor of exhaustion, of pure irritation, depending on how your business is structured. So this is a great time to kind of pause, give yourself permission to feel and say, I'm ready for a change, right? I'm ready for a change. So if you're in that space and you're like, hey, I love entrepreneurship, but I don't love how I feel. I love entrepreneurship, but I feel called to serve a different level, even clientele where my skill sets have either improved or I'm just waking up like, I don't get paid enough for this. That's where I want to give you guys some pointers. So for me, it's funny. I just shared on social media this graphic that's like, this is my fourth life. Like, I don't know what y'all scared of. That's what entrepreneurship is. What you come in doing and the direction that you come in, I always believe your experience is going to serve you in some way, even if you do evolve. But I know for a fact what I came into my business and marketing doing is not what I'm doing today. So personally, I started in direct sales and I loved it. I know a lot of people have their own opinion of it, but I was grateful enough to have leadership as well as just pure experimental techniques and strategies. I feel like I was one of the first folks on Instagram that actually use Instagram as a platform to build a 6-figure business, right? And so that was a lot of fun. And I was like, let me just, go out there and again, be influential, be inspirational. Some of the things that we know, if you run a business, some of those techniques, we were testing those out back 10 years ago. Like, does this work? Do people rock with this? Or how are they inspired? How do you build a following? Right. And so within, I want to say my first 3 years on Instagram, I built a 50K size following. And so all of that said, that sounds like it's going well, right? 6-figure years, large Instagram following. This is it. This must be the life. And what ends up happening, like I said, things can be going well in your business, but it doesn't mean that the way your business is built or designed today is going to continue to be the best fit. I became a mom about 4 or so years into running my business. And if y'all have kids, the person you are before you have that baby is not the person you are after. And that goes for any life change, unfortunately, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. Whether you experience grief, if you experience loss, if you experience joy, if you, get married, which I did in that process, have a baby, all the things, like, life will shift. And so as that shifts, is your business designed to shift with you? Is your business going to allow for you to come out of that hustle mode for a season? One of my mindset coaches says, can you go into lo-fi? The lo-fi music they have on Spotify and stuff. Can you go into lo-fi and your business still thrive? And for many entrepreneurs, it can. If you're not in hustle mode, if you don't have eyes on the ball at all times, there's no one that really you can lean on. And so a lot of us will have either success after tears, blood, sweat, all the things, or just feel like, hey, I got a good flow, but I'm a little nervous. If life were to shift a little bit too far to left or right, I don't know if I can make it. So some tips I have for you, if you're feeling again, like, you know what, wherever I'm at, I'm either ready to burn this thing down or I just know I'm ready for a pivot. I want you guys to get super clear on what you enjoy doing. I have, especially as a woman of color, we don't get taught this. We don't get taught to trust what we love. We get taught to do what needs to be done, right? And so a lot of times we'll see a season coming where we're feeling burnt out, we're feeling disengaged from our own business, but that voice in the back of our head from our grandmothers, our aunts, our mothers, whomever is like, you can't slow down, you can't quit, you're not going to be okay if you do. And so it's giving yourself permission to come out of hustle mode and going into what I call flow, right? Hustle and flow. But it's a real life thing to come out of hustle and go into flow means I trust me. And y'all should type that in the comments. I trust me. I trust my talents. I trust my skills. I trust what interests me. I trust what God has given me. I trust me. And so if I'm feeling a certain way, I love that, Candy. She said, rest is necessary to scale. It absolutely is. If we're not focused in and giving ourselves an opportunity to pause and feel like we can trust God enough even to say, can I take a break and think straight? If I'm in a rut and I want to pivot, that's super important. But really taking inventory, usually when we're burnt out, it's not because we're doing too much. It's because we're doing too little of what actually energizes us. We're doing too little of what we actually feel like makes impact. Most of us, we love what we do. We started a business because we love what we do. So to really get into your top tier profit, you have to give yourself permission to lean in and trust what is that at the core, what it is that you love to do, right? And so after you identify that, okay, cool. Do an inventory, right? So write inventory in the chat. Inventory. Once you know what you love and what you're interested in, and you're ready to trust and lean into what it is that your actual gifts are, your gifts will always make room for you, right? So inventory. We want to now go to marketplace and find out, how does what it is that we love to do fare in the marketplace? Now I'm going to give y'all a real unpopular opinion, and I want you to roll with me on it, okay? Unpopular opinion, everything that we love to do the way we want to do it may not always produce the income we want to produce right away. When I say trust, I don't mean trust it for 3 months. I don't mean trust it for 3 weeks. I mean trust it. It's going to make room for you. It's going to offer opportunity. Hey, Teresa. But you definitely want to make sure that you're looking and saying, hey, I'm 100% ready to lean into my gift no matter what it is that it takes. But that inventory is going to look like you going into marketplace and saying, what is it that people are looking for? I love to call it a town hall. And so I'll pull out my audience, my clients even, right? Who are my favorite clients? Who are my favorite followers? Who's always engaging with my content? Who can I speak to run them through what it is that I love to do? And so it can be as simple as a Facebook post and making a post and say, hey, how many of y'all would be interested in XYZ? But that can be dangerous because you'll get people who comment who aren't your dream clients. So remember, we're pivoting. We don't want to pivot back into a business model that we don't love. We want to pivot into a business model that actually fits and helps us to grow. And so one of the things that we do at Fire Savvy is once we take that inventory and we're like, all right, got it. I understand what I love to do. I'm clear about it and I'm willing to trust it. Now I'm going to go out into the marketplace. I'm going to commit to what it is that I love to do, but I want to know, how does what I love to do? It's like that Venn diagram we used to learn about in high school, right? How does what I love to do pay? What's the demand on what I love to do? And is this something that I'm gonna be to go out the gate and start profiting from wildly, or do I have to build my audience? Right? Can y'all put audience in the chat, please? Audience. We have to be willing to build an audience around it. So this is a process. This is a process. We don't want to feel like just because, hey Myrna, we don't want to feel like just because we thought of an idea that instantly our whole social media audience is going to pivot and want to fund or support what we're doing. They love you to death, I'm sure, but your dream client may not be in your audience just yet. So taking an inventory from your dream clients, the people again who you know love your content, who is loyal, inventory those who you really want to work with and start to say, hey, where can I pivot from here? But next, we want to encourage you guys to do is to think about business differently. And so to make it easier, right? Like, how many of y'all are like, you know what? If I can make my job easier, if I could go out there and yes, build this business, but I don't want to sacrifice my family. I don't want to sacrifice my well-being. I don't want to keep grinding. I don't want to content create all day long. If that sounds like you're definitely going to want to take a step back and say, all right, what's the simplest way for me to get from A to B? Right? What's the simplest way for me to really impact without burnout? Because that's the whole thing we want to avoid in this pivot. In our opinion, and from our experience, more importantly, hosting exclusive conversion events are the way to go. If you want to have a business model where you're able to show up strong and go back in the house, especially shout out to either our introverts or ambiverts. I'm an ambivert. People cannot believe that at 9 o'clock, I don't want to talk to nobody. 9 o'clock hit, I don't want to talk to nobody. The sun has gone down and so has Patrice. And so with that personality, I don't want to feel like I have to be on a hamster wheel, be on the phone all day, be engaging all day long. I want to have a business that respects how I personally operate, but also that I can make the most impact and get back to my babies, right? So by incorporating a business model such as exclusive high ticket, right? We want to get paid when we in the room, virtually or in person, exclusive high ticket conversion events. That's going to allow for us, no matter where you pivot to quickly get to know your audience in a way that they are ready to convert. So you are probably familiar with different ways and strategies in which to do high ticket conversion events, masterclasses, right? Um, Workshops. There are a ton of ways that you guys can literally get in front of your people. These are all familiar. However, many of us do these ways wrong. Okay, so what do I mean by that? I mean, there are lots of instances where folks will get in front of, and you can put a little emoji in the comment. It's okay. Um, you can let me know. But if you ever got in front of a master class and you started to teach, right? I want you to put a emoji in the comments, like, just let me know, little hand up or a yes. If you got in front of your master class and you started teaching instead of actually selling, let me know, because we get taught that, right? We get taught the best way to handle when you have a in-person conversion event is to just start teaching your audience so they know that you're smart and they want to buy from you. And I'm trying to get back to the chat here so I can see y'all. Let me see if I can pull it up because I want to see y'all. There we go. I see y'all now. Yes. So that is something that happens all the time. We want to teach you guys to not do that anymore. We don't want your attendees to be students. We want them to be buyers, right? And so if people are attending your master classes back to back, I fell victim to this just last year. I had master classes. I had about maybe 5 master classes last year, and none of them turned into high ticket clients. Why? Because they sat and they learned, and one or two things happened. Either they went and they applied what they learned and they made money and they didn't need me anymore. That's great for them, but for the $99 they paid, right? Or they tried it out, they weren't ready, right? People attend master classes before they're ready sometimes. So they went and they skipped 10 steps, attended a master class they weren't ready for, tried to apply those tips for a day or two, a week or two, and literally did not see the results they wanted. So now who's wrong? You are. You must be down because I applied what you said and it didn't work. So in these high ticket exclusive conversion events, we're keeping them intimate, right? You really want to be able to get to know those who are attending and really have a deep relationship with them. So we teach you guys how to do that. But more importantly, we want you guys to leave out of those events and actually have converted folks. A lot of folks will host these events and either convert at a slow rate or a no rate, and we don't want to see that at all. So I wanted to give those quick tips. Like those are like, I call it my core four in my framework. And Fire Savvy, we do the exact same thing. We want to make sure that there are 4 things that you guys are doing when you are pivoting, regardless of if it's a relaunch, a launch of a new initiative, if you burn the whole thing down and you're ready to have some more fun in your business and do it right this time in a way that is best for you. You got to make sure you look at your audience. We said audience before, right? Do you have the right audience for where you want to pivot? You cannot assume because you have a social media following. Fun fact, when I pivoted my business from direct sales and decided to go into marketing officer work, I did not post on my Instagram hardly. I don't think I posted at all. That 50,000 following was not what was going to take me next level. You cannot be married to an audience that is not your dream client. So I had to have the courage to start over. And that, I mean, let's be clear, that's scary. I did the work to build a following, but this following base was not going to be what took me next level. Second is content, right? Are you constantly creating content as your influencer maker? You got to make sure that you're putting out content consistently that lets people learn your heart, lets them learn your expertise, lets them learn that you are truly the go-to expert in your market. Again, these high ticket conversion events slides right on in there next. Are you are you getting to know your audience, your dream clients on an intimate level? And are they having an opportunity to interact with you at an intimate level? And if this is done correctly, your high ticket dream clients are going to walk into your event already sold. They're not going to need you to sell them in this high pressure, super scary 1 hour, 1 day, 3 day stretch, right? They're going to come into your event primed and ready because they know they want to work with you. This is just part of the experience, right? And not the actual sales pitch. And last but not least, test, and test again. Be willing to test different opportunities. Be willing to test different ways in which to connect to your audience. But just understand it's a process, but it's so worth it. And with our strategies, we are happy to help you guys get to 100K monthly recurring revenue months where you're like, I'm doing these events on autopilot. They're bringing in my dream client. They're already sold when they come to me. And I'm able to now move in a direction where my business is. I'm not chained to my business. I'm having fun at these events because events can be stressful. Having fun at these events and then having fun after. So that's it. If y'all have questions, let me know. But that's kind of what I wanted to share in reference to how can you pivot successfully if you are now in business and like, girl, I need something to change. Hey, Francesca. You on mute still?
I keep doing this. I also realized I didn't end the session, but before, but that was really good, Patrice. And also, I was taking down some notes and I had some questions, but I also wanted to see if anyone in the audience had any questions. We can, I think, bring you all up and You can ask your questions on stage, or you can drop them in the chat, and we can address them there. But let me see, what were my questions? Well, one, I like that you gave the cheat code, but for me personally, like what I took away from that is you can't be married to an audience that's not your dream client. I think that's a very hard pill to swallow, because I know you said like it took you about 3 years or something to get your audience at 50,000, and it's taken us about I think about 9 years to get to our 60K.
Real.
And it has, but at the same time, it's so much in between there. Like, I've had people look at our Instagram page and try to figure out like why, it's not converting the way we would like for it to be converting. And they've said that it's because we may possibly still, we've just had the page for so long. So I thought that that's something that I hope that you all took away as well. um and then I like the fact that you mentioned that about consistent content. I'm always telling my clients about that, my visibility clients. And so, and it can be so difficult for us to just take the time to create, but then you'll be looking at someone else's post and it's just like, them at Walmart, but it's a post and they've made like, for me, I'm always trying to make certain everything is informative for my audience. But sometimes I realize like, hey, you know what? Like, you in Target today, you might just need to pull a few points here or something like that. So I think you made some really great points. And I also have attended a Fire Savvy Unmaster class, and it was really good. Yeah, I'm still trying to niche down right now, like Donna said. But I
Yeah,
said
she
it
will get on you.
and look, it's been like a month and I've still been like thinking like, but her presentation just really stayed with me. So I definitely believe in what you all are doing. And I appreciate you all for being sponsors for this evening. That really meant a lot to us. It helped to make this event a success. So I'm done rambling. Did anyone have any questions? I don't see any hands raised, but I just want to make certain. Um, okay. Well, looks like that is everything. Yeah, also was trying to make certain that okay. Myrna actually has a question. Let's
Hey,
see.
Myrna. Myrna is part of our Fire Savvy Insider, so I'm excited to hear your question. Hey, boo.
Wait, where'd she go? She was.
She said, okay. She doesn't have a
Oh,
question.
she's raising her hand to let me know. I guess that
Oh, she's
she's
next speaker. Okay, she's the next speaker. Yay!
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much again, Patrice, and thank you, Fire Savvy, for being a sponsor. And if you all have any questions, you all can connect with them. Oh, where can they connect with you all online?
Yes, I'm actually gonna drop it in the chat. I'm gonna give you guys both Donna and Chanel's Facebook pages. That's the best place to connect. Slide in the DMs. We actually, if you're curious about what I kind of chatted about today, these 100K monthly recurring revenue months, we're gonna have a fireside chat where we actually go through, just no charge, just come and sit with us. We're gonna talk about how we put this event together, and that will give you guys an opportunity to ask questions, learn more, kind of see how it fits into your own business model. So I'm going to put the Fire Savvy website here in the chat. And we're also going to put in our text code. So text Fire Savvy. Let me get this for y'all real quick to get entry into our Fireside chat. We're not going to post the actual link publicly at all. So if you're interested in being part of, I need you guys to text Fire Savvy to 571-701-1601 to secure your seat and join us as we get just girl chat. Honestly, you know how we do. So just some girl chat so you guys can learn more about what it looks like to put on events that are not, teaching people so they come and not ever come back. We really want to make sure that we're teaching them and they're coming and they're ready to convert.
Got it. And I also shared the message so that those on Facebook can be able to see that, as far as to be able to text the number. So thank you so much again, Patrice.
Thank you.
I'm not quite seeing how to remove you from the stage. Are you able to see how to do it?
I am going to see if it does.
For some reason, like normally all the speakers would be along this bottom, but it's not showing that tonight.
I'm gonna click some buttons. If not, I'll just close the whole thing out. So I'll just drop off. Hopefully it works. But thank you
Okay.
guys, and shout out to Myrna. She's again also a Fire Savvy Insider, so we're cheering you on. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Okay. All right. Well, that worked as well. All right. So, um, before I bring in our next speaker, let me tell you all a little bit about her. And also, um, I'm sorry, I was hoping to connect with you a little beforehand so I can make certain I say your last name correctly. But our next guest is Myrna Lane Hippolyte. Myrna is the founder and chief financial empowerment partner at Empower Financial Wellness. She is a financial wellness coach and wealth strategist who helps powerhouse women executives turn their amazing income into their first million in net worth, even if they are new to investing in the stock market and are not financial pros. Using her millionaire maven methodology, she is an Ivy League graduate of Dartmouth with both her bachelor's and master's degrees. Myrna has an extensive background in finance with close to 30 years of experience in various industries like investment banking, financial planning, corporate finance, and private equity. Coming out of her financial breakthrough coaching program, her clients end up with higher savings, investments, and are on their way to building their first million in net worth. She provides them with an organized and simple way to manage and grow their wealth. Myrna also takes pride in helping her clients elevate their money game and become the money rock stars they are meant to be. So, without further ado, let me bring her in. Okay. All
Thank you.
right, Myrna. And how to pronounce your last name? Did I say it correctly?
You said it right. Lane
Okay.
Hippolyte. You got it.
Okay. I was so nervous. All right. Well, I'm going to let you take the stage now.
All right. Hello, hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I know that there are a lot of accomplished powerhouse women out there in the audience. If you're a powerhouse woman and you know it, give me a yes in the chat. I can only see some of the chat here. All right, Rashida, yes, yes. All right. So I'm going to talk tonight about the 5 steps to financial wellness. So, as accomplished women that we have letters in front of our name, we have letters in the back of our name. We are accomplished and we know that we've got it going on. But sometimes we don't have it going on when it comes to our money. If I said, hey, can you go out there and get a PhD when it comes to your money? Sometimes we don't do that. And for me, as a financial wellness coach, I look at money influencing really your levels of wellness, your levels of well-being. And frankly, if your financial house is not in order, the rest of your house is not going to be in order. I don't care what you tell me, where you go, it's not going to be in order. So tonight I'm going to talk about 5 simple tips that you can implement as soon as you come off this call to improve your financial wellness and really get your money game elevated. All right, let's see if this technology is going to work for me, y'all. Pray for me. All right, can you guys see my screen? Okay, I see my screen. Yes, yes. Okay, so let's see. This is PDF. All right. So, who am I, and why should you actually listen to me? So, I've had the pleasure of being introduced. So, all of my points were essentially taken and gone by. I do have 30 years of experience. Yes, I know I look young, but yes, I do have over 30 years of experience. And I am qualified to have this conversation with you because I've gone through a lot in terms of financial. I've gone through investment banking. I've gone through private equity. I've done corporate finance. I've been a financial advisor. I've actually been that analyst that analyzes stocks and says, hey, institution, here's what you should buy for your mutual fund. So I've done it all, but you don't have to. And I actually went about the long way to doing it. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about my story. And I think it's kind of breaking up my slide, but we'll have to work with it. Okay, so I am originally of Haitian background. I am a Caribbean background. I am from Haiti.
And if I knew anything growing up, was that in order to be successful, you had to meet the trifecta of success. And the trifecta of success is working hard, going to school or college, and getting a good job. Who's familiar with that trifecta of success? If you're familiar with the trifecta of success, put a 1 in the chat for me. Yes, yes. So we're told, right? Hey, you got to go out there, get a job, go to school, do your best. If it means student loans, whatever it means, go out there and do it. And that was success. But at the end of the day, did anybody teach me about investing? Did anybody tell me about how to save? Did anybody tell me about real estate? Did anybody tell me about stocks? No. And essentially, I had to go about and learn the hard way. And that trifecta of success, when we are powerful, powerhouse women, we tend to go by that trifecta of success. And like say, hey, instead of a good job or with a good job, you have a good business and generating good money. But do you really know how to manage your money? And are you living to a sense of financial wellness? So I didn't really know how to do those things. All right. So let's see. So I know that the struggle is real. So you're a powerhouse woman. 99% of my clients come to me and say, hey, Myrna, I make really good money, but I really don't have anything to show for it. Or I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if I'm making enough money. Do I have enough to retire? I'm not necessarily feeling good about the decisions that I made. I may have made decisions in the past that make me feel ashamed. And some of us may have made those decisions. We know that. I mean, I didn't come to be a money wellness coach overnight. Yes, I made decisions that weren't necessarily the best decisions for my money. Decisions like, co-signing a loan for somebody I didn't have any business co-signing a loan for. But, out of trust, thought that, hey, I could do it. Feeling exposed. Nobody likes to talk about money, right? When you're talking about money, it's like having, it's almost like being naked, like having an open kimono and having to be honest about our money, having to talk about our money, how much we have. Those are the types of things that we don't necessarily do. And sometimes we get into a situation where we're pinching, we're doing a lot of sacrificing, and we don't know if we're going to reach our end objective, what our end objective may be when it comes to our money. And we do that at the expense of being able to live our own lives. And that's not where we want to be. So as a result, my company, Empower Financial Wellness, was born. And it was born essentially because I was tired of talking to so many women who weren't necessarily living their best life, who weren't living their optimal sense of wellness. And when I say financial wellness, I mean having an overall financial health. It's your financial well-being, having control over your finances. If something unexpected happens, you're able to take care of that. If you are in a situation where you want to buy something, you want to do something, you're able to do it. So I founded my company because I wanted to help women. I wanted women to be able to do better with their overall money. All right. So let's get into these 5 steps. What are the 5 steps? The 5 steps are actually really going to change your life and make things better for you. And they're 5 simple steps. And I don't know, because my slideshow is kind of like haphazard, I may just run with it and just not even present my slides if that's better, but we'll just play it by ear because I'm kind of taggling back and forth. So step 1 is having a positive money mindset. A positive money mindset. What does that mean? So when you grow up, right, when you're little, what your parents teach you about money influences how you feel about money or what you think. Some of the things like, hey, money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to work hard to get money. you can't waste money because it's hard to come by. So there are a lot of things that you learn when you're a kid that might influence how you view money when you grow up. So if you think it's hard to make money, then it's going to be a problem. You're going to think that you're going to have to put blood, sweat, and tears to make that money, when that's not always the case. So your money mindset has an influence on your ability to generate money. Number two, it's not just your childhood, it's things that actually happen in your adult life. So when you're an adult, for example, if you're in a situation where, let's say you got passed up for that promotion, and it was a promotion to high level position, and they said, hey, you know what? You're just not ready. And you might view it from the lens of, hey, I thought I was ready, and not getting a promotion, you may think that, hey, there's a cap on the actual money that I can make. And so that can make you believe that, hey, I can't go any further. I can't earn any more money. Or if in your business, you're in that situation where you're actually earning money and you're not, going beyond a specific threshold, you may think, hey, that's it for me. Or I'm going to be a statistic where I'm not going to earn enough money. So your mindset is very, very important in terms of your ability to generate money. Tell me in the chat, if you can, what are some of the things that you were told about money when you were growing up that you kind of figured out may not be true? Tell me in the chat real quick. Any ideas? Yes, you have to work hard to get the money. The harder you work, the more you make. Exactly. Those are things that aren't necessarily true. They're not true. And so those influence, the money is the root of all evil. Exactly. Those things are not true. And we all know that they're not true now, but they've had influences in our lives. Now, how do you actually go about cultivating a positive money mindset? Now, you see me, I'm a finance person through and through. I'll crank through some spreadsheets all day long. So I'm not what you would consider a woo person, but things that the mindset is of critical importance. You are not going to move forward if you don't have a positive money mindset. If you don't believe that you can manage your money, if you don't believe that you can actually go out there and get that money, if you don't believe that money can come to you, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So being able to believe that is the very first steps. And that's what I tell my clients, is that when you are coming into a situation, you are going to get the tools that you need to be able to manage your money. And once you have those tools and that guidance, you're going to be able to do it. And time after time, I see my clients becoming those money rock stars that we talked about in the intro, because it's true. They've changed their mindset. So what are some of the ways that you can actually cultivate a positive money mindset? One, you got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else is going to believe in you. You are your best cheerleader. So you need to believe in yourself. That's step number one. Step number two, you need to create big money goals. Stop being cheap. Don't say you're going to save $100. Don't say you're going to, go and, take that trip down the street, take a staycation. Maybe you want to go bigger. Maybe you want to go on a vacation to Hawaii. Maybe you want to go to Europe. Create big money goals. When you create big money goals, that helps you advance more and helps you amass more money. Practice money affirmations. Like I said, I'm not a woo girl, but money affirmations help. I actually have on my bathroom mirror affirmations that say I can create wealth to help me and help others, and I can live a life of abundance. I can attract money, etc. There are a number of affirmations that you can use and repeat to yourself, and you repeat them until you believe them, and you believe them, and they make things happen. And then next, you want to make the commitment to financial stability. So if you're in a situation where you're not financially stable, your credit card debt is through the roof, you don't know what's happening, you're spending money left and right, you need to make the commitment to yourself to financial stability, and that's going to help you cultivate that money mindset. So tip number 1 is a positive money mindset. That's the tip that you need to have. That's what you need to have first and foremost before anything can happen. All right, let's move on to step number 2. So step number 2 is all about building your savings plan. And when I say build your savings plan, there are a few things that go into that. One, it's paying yourself first. You may have heard that term before, but what does that mean? That means, like I tell my clients, is that you are your most important bill. You put yourself before the mortgage, you put yourself before the light bill, you put yourself before the student loan, before the car note. I don't care what it is, you put yourself before everything else. So you pay yourself first. And how do you do that? You put aside 5 to 10% of your income, whether it's your business income, whether it's your W-2 income, you put that aside in an online savings account. Why do I say online? Because it makes it harder to access. If you got it in a savings account sitting next to your checking account, you're likely to dip into it. Whereas if it's an online savings account vehicle, it takes about 24 hours for the money to get to you. And so when you do that, you put yourself first. You automate the process. Do not leave your savings to chance. Don't say, hey, after I finish paying all the bills, whatever I have left over, I'm going to save. No, that's not going to work. And that's not part of a strategy that's going to lead to better financial wellness. And you also want to have the right vehicles. So if you are in a situation right now where you're earning less than 4% on your savings account, then you got a problem. You got to move your money, because right now in a high interest rate environment, you want to be able to double your money at a faster rate. At 4%, you're not going to double it at a very fast rate, but it's much better than if your money's sitting in a savings account that's at 0.5%, 0.7%, 1%. You need to have at least 4% of your money. So homework tonight is go look at your savings account, or tomorrow. Okay, I'll give you till tomorrow morning. Do that. Look at your savings account. Look at what interest rate you're actually generating on that account. And if it's not 4%, make sure that you talk to your bank and say, hey, what can you do for me? And what have you done for me lately? And see if you can do better. And if not, move your money to an online savings account that can give you at least 4%. Do that for yourself, because if you're putting the money aside, you want it to be you making the most for you. All right. So why is saving important? I can't even underscore this enough, because savings, they provide you a backup for a rainy day, right? They give you peace of mind. I don't call them emergency funds. I call them peace of mind funds, because the instant that something unexpected happens, you have that security, you have the stability and comfort of knowing that, hey, I'm saving for certain things. I can provide for myself if something unexpected happens. So that helps contribute to your sense of overall financial wellness. It helps you feel better, but it also helps you establish a pillar in building wealth. You have to have money set aside if you want to make it work for you, right? That's the first step. If you don't have any money set aside, it's not going to be able to work for you. And we talked about, hey, having to work hard for money. There are ways that money can work hard for you. And this is one of them, saving in the right vehicle. So we've gone through 2 steps so far. Step 1 is a positive money mindset. That's critical. Number 2 is building your savings. So making sure that you've built your savings, and I would say have at least 6 months worth of baseline expenses put aside in your savings. And when I say 6 months of baseline expenses, that means anything that you're going to spend money on. If you were to lose your income, that's what you need to understand what those total expenses are and have 6 months worth in your actual savings account. That will give you that sense of financial wellness. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, number 3 is investing to build wealth. See if you guys can see this. All right. Step 3 is investing to build wealth. And when I say investing, I mean investing in the stock market. So right now, do you have an investment account that's generating at least a minimum return of 10%? You want to have an investment vehicle that's going to help you double your money at a reasonable rate. If you have a 10%, an account that's generating at least 10%, the stock market average return, then every 7 years, your money is going to double. We're not going to go into the dynamics of that particular rule of 72, but if you have 10% return every 7 years, your money is going to double. But how many of you right now are investing in the stock market? If you are investing right now in the stock market, put investing for me in the chat. Okay. All right. So for me, I'm a big proponent of investing in the stock market because your wealth is definitely going to go from here to here, a 5x factor or more if you're investing versus savings. And I usually tell people that you got three keys to success. The magic formula to success is really consistency, time, and an overall rate of return. So in the stock market, you get a good rate of return. If you do it consistently and over time, that also helps. Let's see how that plays out in an actual scenario. So hopefully you guys can see this. This shows you the power of investing, the power of compounding. I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but I'm just going to walk you through really quickly. It's 3 people. They're actually putting aside the same amount of money, $200 a month, every single month. So that's a consistency piece, every single month. But if you can see, that blue line is someone who started at the age of 25. The green line, that person started at 35, and the orange line, that person started at 45. So blue line person, let's call them Jack. Blue line invested consistently $200 a month, and by the time they're 65, they had over $500,000. Pretty good. Jill, green line, started at 35, same $200 a month, but by the time she hit 65, she had about $250,000. Not bad, but not as good as Jack. And then you have Joey in the orange line, who started at age 45, $200 a month, only had $100,000 by the time he hit age 65. So this just shows you that it's very important to invest, 1, to invest consistently, 2, but also to start early. So even if you are Joey, you're that person at 45, you're that person at 50. I mean, I have a client right now who's close to 60, who's in my investing program, and that person is investing. It really takes, you have to understand what your profile is, right? You can invest at any age, but understand what your goals and objectives are and be wise about it. So investing is very important. Now, one other myth that I often encounter is that it takes a lot of money to invest. No, it doesn't take a lot of money to invest. You can invest with as little as $5 a day. And the source of this information is from Dr. Boyce Watkins. I don't know if you ladies have heard of him, but he is a Black professor who has a PhD in finance and who is a proponent of advancing our community, the Black community, and making sure that we're educated, all things come finance and wealth building. So this is just an illustration for as little as, $5. If you go to Starbucks, those cappuccinos, those specialty coffees, they cost you more than $5. I love Starbucks. I go to Starbucks and I go into Starbucks and it costs me money every time I go to Starbucks. So for as little as $5 a day, you can invest. And you see, based on a baseline rate return of 10%, after 40 years, you would have close to $1 million. And this is being consistent. You don't have to do it every day, but if you save, let's say $150 a month and you invest that, then you can generate that return for you. It doesn't have to be a large amount of money, but we need to understand that we have to be in the game to win. So we have to be involved in the stock market in order to at least use that avenue as a way to build wealth. All right. So we're business owners, right? So let's talk a little bit about an entrepreneurs. Let's talk about retirement planning. So that's something that falls to the wayside, but that's part of investing. It's part of, financial wellness, understanding, hey, there is a future, something that you need to maybe think about. Some people think about it actively, and that tends to happen when you get a little bit older. But even if you're young, it's a good time to think about it. Even if you're a teen working, you can open a Roth IRA account. The sooner, the better. Like I said, you want to be like that person that started at age 25, start at 20, start sooner, start for your kids. So when you're an entrepreneur, whether you're doing a side gig, whether you're doing it full time, you get the benefit of being able to put more money aside than a regular person, because you can open a solo 401k and put money in for your retirement. Use that autopilot mentality, the same that we look for in savings, to fund your 401k. If you're at a company, fund your 403b. Any employer plan that you have. If you don't have an employer, even if you're doing a side gig, put more money aside in your solo 401k. I always tell people, if you have a W-2 job and you have a matching plan from your employer, take advantage of that free money. Do not sit there and not contribute. At least contribute the money that's going to get you the match. That's free money. Do not leave free money on the table. And then fully fund your Roth IRA account or your traditional IRA account. So make sure that as you're looking at your business and you're looking at your money coming in, that you're also looking at ways to improve your future self, right? And retirement planning is a part of it. And it's sometimes something that people neglect, but you can have fun and you can still put away money aside for your retirement so you can have more fun when you retire. All right. So let's move on to step number 4. My PowerPoint is getting ahead of me, people. Step number 4 is protecting your money. This is a very, very important point. I'm trying to get this to move up. Sorry. Okay. All right. Step number 4 is protecting your money. Very, very important. When I established my company, what I found is that I had friends, I had family members, and these were women. They were in relationships. They started off, and they built a life with someone when they weren't looking. They weren't paying attention to their assets. They didn't know where the assets were. And then 20, 25 years down the line, the love of their life becomes their worst nemesis. And there you go. They leave the union with nothing to show for it. And that's the most tragic thing for me, because you weren't paying attention, that you end up not coming out of a union where you built something with someone and don't have anything to show for it. I also give the example of Chadwick Boseman. Chadwick Boseman is the guy who played Black Panther. He died without a will. So his wife and his parents ended up in a situation where they didn't get everything because they had to go fight for it, and the things had to go through probate. So have a will. Make sure you know where your assets are. Have life insurance, because when you have life insurance and there are people who depend on your income, then that's very important. You leave something for them. They're taken care of. We had COVID. A lot of people passed away. Make sure that you have plans for your health care if you become incapacitated. All of this is contributing to financial wellness and your ability to really do more and do better with your money. Okay. So step number 5 is the last step, as we are getting close to the end. The last step really is figuring out what your goals are and use your money to prioritize those goals. As women, we tend to sideline our goals a lot and what we want in life. We tend to say, oh, when the kids grow up, when they leave the house, then I'll do this. Or when I have enough money, I'll do this. Or when I get a certain promotion, I'll do this. I'll write my book, or I'll do things. No, there are a lot of times we put our goals to the side and we don't accomplish them. But part of financial wellness is using your money to achieve the things that you want to achieve in life. Are you setting goals? Are you writing them down? Do you understand how long it's going to take you to get there? How much money you need? So those are the things that you need to think about to promote financial wellness in your life. because you don't want to be living your life to just pay bills. You want to be able to live your best life and enjoy life and do the things that you want to do, right? So whether that be buying that dream home, whether it's setting aside money for your kids' college, whether it's saving for retirement, paying off those student loans, you want to move to the Caribbean, whatever you want to do, you should be able to do it comfortably, and live your actual best life. For me, that's of primary importance. In order to promote financial wellness, you got to be able to do the things that you want in life and not just use your money to pay bills. All right, so I'm going to give you a quick testimonial of a client of mine that's really, I would say, the epitome of financial wellness. So my client Fatima, before she started working with me, she essentially said, hey, she was lost. She felt like she earned well. She earned pretty good money, but she didn't know where her money was going. And she felt like she had to do something about it. And she really had no idea how to invest. After working with me 2 months into my 3-month program, she was able to save $1,260, reassessed her 401k plan, opened a brokerage account, and invested on her own for a very first time. And at the end of the program, she bought her very first home in New York City. So I'm very, very proud of her. And it just shows you that when you have a plan and when you put all of the pieces together, how things can come together very well to help improve your situation and help you fast track your money. So let's recap. If we want to recap the 5 steps, 1 is having a positive money mindset. Number 2, we talked about building a savings plan. That's of critical importance. 3, investing. If anybody knows me, they know that I'm going to preach to the moon that if you're not investing in the stock market, you've got to invest no matter what. So investing is very important. And we have our homework on the savings on the 4% account. And then we talked about making sure you protect your assets. So protecting your assets means insurance, wills, whatever you need, healthcare proxy, making sure you know where your assets are. If you're in a union, somebody else is managing the money, know where everything is. And last, applying your goals and making sure that you understand what your goals in life are and how you're going to use your money to achieve them so that you're not just paying bills with your money. So if you leave this talk tonight, I want you to understand that you can take these 5 steps, take 1, 2, 3, all 5 of them, implement them in your life, but take action. So what I would like to do is offer everybody on the call right now access to a free checklist that is the 5 mistakes that powerhouse women make that stop them from getting to $1 million. So this is a very good checklist. So if you text the word power to 754-714-4002, it will give you that free checklist that starts you off with a quick list of 5 mistakes that you don't want to make and to be able to implement those in your actual life. So again, the number is 754-714-4002. Text the word power. I will put this information in the chat. The choice really is yours. If you want to talk more about your financial situation, you can book a call with me. You can take a screenshot of this, book a call with me, or use the QR code. My passion is really to make sure that we as Black women are using all of the opportunities that are available to us so that we can get our financial house in order, so that we can feel good about the money that we make, that we can feel good about the money that we bring in to achieve our purpose and our calling in life. And so that we, as Black women, can enhance our wealth, enhance our financial wellness. And that's really the message of today, that if you take anything from this talk, do something that will help fast track your money, will help build that sense of financial wellness, and will help you make you feel better at the end of the day. All right, so that concludes my presentation. Right on time. Yes.
Okay, that was really good, Myrna. I'm sorry. I'm just wait. Okay, 1 second. Okay, yeah. So I was just taking notes and I really learned a lot personally. I hope you guys watching also learned a lot as well. One thing I was kind of curious to know about, what do you think of starter engine? Like investing in that. Are you familiar with it?
Starter engines? No, I'm not familiar with that.
Okay, just curious. It's like an investment platform with startups, and so I invested in that, but I'm still trying to like. It's been over a year. I haven't saw a return. I'm still trying to figure out how it works, but I have yet to meet someone
Is it
who.
through a venture capital fund? Is it more of like pooling of different companies, startup companies?
Yeah,
What is it through a
but
formal venture capital fund?
it's different companies that are in the startup stages. That's about the most I can tell you. There's a lot of other people, but I can ask you about it online. But I was just
Okay.
curious if you knew about it, if that was something else that we could suggest to the audience. But
There
yeah.
are definitely alternative investments that are similar, but you go through a specific venture capital fund, somebody that's actually managing the portfolio, and you can invest that way, especially if you're an accredited investor, meaning you have more money, right? You earn more money. And so you're able to have that as an investment opportunity where you can invest in multiple companies like you talked about.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to actually end the session this time, guys, and then we'll come back in before I bring in our next speaker. Just hang tight with me. Myrna, you can exit the stage, but I'm going to see if it allows us to actually end so that we can get on the right schedule with the itinerary.